Good morning, glad you could join us. I've got a story I'd like to share with you from Philip Yancey that I think you'll like. Otherwise, I wouldn't share it with you, but I do. I think you'll like it. I want to start by quoting a verse from Luke's Gospel, the first chapter, verse 38. It's the story where the angel comes and talks to Mary, and Mary says that she's on board with the plan. And it's just interesting to me that it mentions at the end of the verse, it says, and the angel left her. I like that. Why? Because we have special moments in life where angels show up. Sometimes we're not even aware that they're there, but then they also leave. Do you have ordinary days? Do you have more special or ordinary days? I have far more ordinary days than I have special days. But I think it's really important how we live the ordinary days. Then our faith gets tested, and we ask the question sometimes, what can one person do? What difference can I make? But I think it's so important that we play our role, that we do the thing that we're supposed to do, and we trust God that this is what you've called me to do. Okay, so here's the story from Philip Yancey. He said he watched a series that was based on a number of interviews from survivors from World War II. And so they picked this one particular day, and they asked all these infantrymen, what did you do that day? And here are some of their accounts. The soldiers recalled how they spent the day. One sat in a foxhole all day, and then once or twice, a German tank came by, and he got up and he shot at it. And I'm sure the tank just drove by and said, it's like, you're not going to hurt me with your gun. Others played cards all day long. They just played cards, and they frittered away time. A few got involved in furious firefights, but that was the minority. Mostly, the day passed like any other day for an infantryman that was on the front lines of World War II. It was later that they learned what an important day it was. It was later that they came to understand that there was a bigger picture that they played a part of. Even if they didn't feel like they played a big part in the Battle of the Bulge, they were part of the Battle of the Bulge, one of the most decisive and engagements in World War II. And yet they were completely unaware of being part of that larger victory that day. I remember seeing the movie, The Battle of the Bulge. I was about 5 years old. I think it was probably Randhurst Shopping Center. And I was sitting in the front row, and I swear like the tanks were rolling right at me. But isn't that the way it is with life? That so often we're just doing the mundane things. We're taking the sergeant's orders. We're going to our boring job. I don't have a boring job, but you might have a boring job. I have had a boring job. This isn't it. Great victories are often won when ordinary people execute their assigned tasks. Regardless of what mood you're in, regardless of anything else, you just say, you know what, I'm going to get up today and I'm going to do the things that are needful for me to do. I really believe that it's such an important thing to do. Some of you have heard me say this before. My father-in-law, I want to give a shout out to him. He was a World War II vet, but at first, like when I was talking to him, he said, no, I was in Japan after the war. And then when I got talking to him, I found out that, well, the war wasn't over because they were shooting torpedoes at the ship that he was on. I'm like, Dad, that's war. If they're shooting torpedoes at you, you're part of the war. But I love that too about so many people from World War II. They didn't see themselves as heroes. They just all played their role. And so I was thinking, what verse of Scripture might I come up with? And I had one in mind, and then I realized it's right here on the bookmark that I use. It's found in 1 Corinthians chapter 10. And it simply says, whatsoever you do, do all to the glory of God. It doesn't matter whether you're sweeping a floor, digging a ditch, or sitting in a foxhole. We can do whatever we do to the glory of God and entrust our lives and just ask God to order our steps so that we can play a part in God's great story that He's telling. And someday we're going to find out that we were a part of some huge, decisive things here on planet Earth. Have a great day.